Hey everybody, welcome to Live at Chance's house, and I cannot be more excited to have not only a good friend of mine, but one of the founding members of, oh gosh, you name it, the Velvet Love Box, Daddy Soul Donut, anything else that you could imagine. I'm sure we'll cover it today. But welcome everyone, my good friend Neil Schnell. Hi Neil, how you doing?
Good. Nice to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you. And it feels like it's nice to see you because I don't think we actually have in probably a year and a half.
It's been a minute.
So what I've been telling my audience about this already and letting them know that last week that you'll probably be coming on. But the interesting story about how this whole thing got started is that, about a year or so ago, because I just had the 1 year anniversary of Live at Chance's house, I decided to just jump on with an iPhone. And all I wanted to do, because I was so angry about the fact I had just released this new song and it was already starting to get a little traction. I'm like, man, I got to play to somebody. But I also knew that I wanted to do something good. And so what I did, instead of having like a virtual tip jar or anything, I said, you know what? Hey, let's raise some money. So I put up a little donation button and let's do the North Texas Food Bank. I just kind of threw it out there. Well, 6 weeks later and $2,500, I was pretty excited to see what that looked like. And then I needed to realize I need to up my game. So I know several phone calls with you, and I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And, well, I got this box. It's from iStream. And I was like, oh, cool. So I went to go try and buy it. Nope, 5 months back ordered. Okay. I guess I better figure out what's next. Then I got the TPS report paper thing, stick in the phone, make that work. And I did that with an iPhone. And I was like, man, there's people are doing this and it's way cooler than what I'm doing. And finally got smart and invested in a couple of good cameras, got a good microphone, got some software, and hey, the rest is history. But the reason why I tell that story is because, quite frankly, I saw you doing it and was like, man, he's doing such a great job. And I love his sound. I love it looks great and he's having fun. So, when all this started, Neil, was it your first thought to do it, or did you get inspired by someone else to do a live stream, or what happened?
Obviously everything just, I went from having gigs booked out through the rest of the year to I'm unemployed. So, and actually it was my wife that pushed me to do it. The Tanstoffel pub is where I would always play on Thursday nights. So she just suggested, and while the bar was shut down, they did something every single day. They had online content of some sort every single day. Be it one of the bartenders doing like drunken story time, or they did, Mel did Whiskey Wednesdays where she would talk about, different kind of alcohols and the histories and things like that. And so we decided on Thursday I would do my normal questionable action Thursday. And yeah, again, we just started off. Now what I did do is I did some research, and that's how I came across that iRig iStream. And so I just ordered it, and it literally got here to the front. It got delivered to the front door about 30 minutes before I was due to go on. And so we were recording on her iPhone, and just plugged it in, and it sounded good, and so we just ran with it, and that was pretty much where it started. But no, she's absolutely the mastermind behind all the technical stuff of it. I'm running the sound there on my little PA board, and then I just line out to her. And then as far as upgrading the cameras and working with with the software and overlays and all that, that's all my wife Mel.
Well, she's doing a great job, and I have to admit I'm a bit jealous because I'm a bit of a one-man show, and I definitely have some moments throughout the course of my show where, well, I forgot to hit the button, or I'm playing and the guitar's not on, and the funniest thing is that I've got some really great friends, and I'll be playing, and sure enough, my phone will start ringing, and I'll just be like, oh God, what's not turned on?
We've certainly had those moments too. And that's, the other thing is that way I've got somebody, she's the one reading comments and telling me, what people want to hear, because my phone this thing is an iPhone 6S, and the battery won't last long enough for me to actually sit there and read anything. It'll go out about 4 songs in if I keep it open that long. Um, so yeah, but it's nice to have somebody to feed off of, and of course, especially in the beginning, because there was a stay-at-home order, so I couldn't have anybody else over. It was just,
Right.
hi, I'm here in my basement,
Yep.
and I'm continuing to do the basement shows, although usually Brandon is here with me at least on Thursdays. So
Yeah, no, I've noticed that. And I think it's pretty cool. I've also seen Chris over there too, and you guys always put on a great show. Yeah, I think about that, and you go through all the process of upgrading and doing different things. I mean, it's really just part of our craft. I mean, for
well,
me,
yeah,
I just want to look better. I don't want to sound better. I want to put on the best performance. And
yeah,
you guys have done a knockout job, and I still watch. I mean, whenever Mondays come around, I'm on and saying, hey, checking in or whatever, and just I like to watch you play anyway, because we're friends, but I also like to watch you play. And then I'm also, make no mistake, I'm kind of peeking in, going, all right, what are they doing this week? Ooh, extra camera. Oh, I need to get one of those.
yep. We're up to 3 now.
I'm just really uninteresting. I mean, you're seeing it. This is it. I mean, and if you saw the stuff I've got, well, it's right behind me. I mean, I got the mic and everything set up, but I've got an iPad for the remote. I've got a phone for YouTube. I got a phone for Facebook. I'm like, it's sometimes too much, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. So,
Oh yeah,
what does all right? So look, we're not post COVID by any stretch of the imagination.
no.
However, things are getting a little bit better, and people are getting vaccinated, and they've got everybody's open, which they
Yeah.
whatever. We don't have to get into all that, but what do you what's coming up? I mean, what are you excited for, and what are you hopeful for 2021?
I don't really know. I think if anything, this has kind of put me in a very be in the moment kind of a state, because I really don't know. I mean, there's going to be some changes coming up within Lovebox. There's just as far as how we're doing things, we're trying to figure out our reentry plan, and I worry, because we're doing a handful of shows here and there, but I worry about crowd sizes and things like that, because I'm still worried about people's safety.
Sure.
And really, I guess I don't know what's going to go on with Lanny Flowers Band. I think we have a gig possibly coming up in September, which means I'm going to have to go back and relearn everything, because I don't remember any of it. Um, I don't know. It's very uncertain, kind of just what's going on and where things are going to go. If there's going to be another wave that comes through that makes, that forces things to revert back a little bit. I mean, so I'm just I'm cautiously optimistic, I suppose, is the best way to go.
Yeah.
My schedule is pretty much returned to at least 2 nights a week playing. I mean, pretty much. I mean, and then I'm keeping Mondays and Thursdays virtual, picking up a few Wednesdays here and there. So I mean, it's gotten busy, but it's mostly the duo. It's mostly Bit of the Box, which has worked out really great. That's actually been one of the very bright spots of the past years, that we've really pushed that forward. And I've gotten to play more guitar in the last year than I have in the last 15, probably. With the downside being that I don't get the opportunity to play bass very often. So.
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's the blessing for me has been a lot of things. First of all, it kept me active. And then I know I'm a better guitar player than I was, a year and a half ago, because I'm forcing myself to do things. And now I've got this thing. Well, I say it's silly because that's what it's called. It's called Silly Request Fridays, and I'll play anything as long as I know at least the song. Like if I've never heard of it, I'm not going to try it because I mean, I'll make a complete jackass out of myself, which sometimes I do that anyway. But if I know the melody or whatever, people will make requests and all right, let's try it. And it's fun, but it's also taught me a lot. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
what's a G major seventh diminished? I don't know. Let's try G.
Right.
If that doesn't work, well then whatever.
Right. Let's try a G, and then I'll lift a couple of fingers and see if I end up somewhere in the right, in the right neighborhood.
That's exactly right. I'm gonna keep doing it though. Like I actually enjoy
Oh yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, that's basically Questionable Action Thursday. People will ask for things on one Thursday, and I'll throw it together the next week. But I don't, I spend like I haven't even learned songs for tonight. I'll go back in the room after we're done, and I'll spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour and pick out 4 or 5 songs and put the lyrics on my iPad and just go.
Yep. No, that's really cool. Well, do you think that look, and like you just mentioned, I mean, I feel exactly the same way you do, by the way. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, I get my second vaccination on May 1st and really excited about that. And but I'm not rushing out. I'm not gonna go like, all right, let's go see a movie and oh, I can't wait to get to my favorite steakhouse.
Right.
No, I mean, I'm not doing any of that yet. But I am looking forward to maybe to see what happens at the end of the summer, maybe in the fall. Let's see what happens if things die down, the variant goes away, blah blah blah, whatever. But
yeah, the fall is really kind of what I'm looking forward to if things kind of continue in a good way.
Yeah,
especially with the vaccinations and everything.
Absolutely. Do you think that after, let's just say that magically tomorrow, everything's good, 100%, everybody's out of it, it's a cure, there's no more problems, we're done. Would you still do the live stream?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm keeping that. I've, one of the other things that I found is it really got me a lot more in touch with my fan base, friends, and my audience. Yep. I don't know. I feel weird saying fans. That just sounds strange to me.
But I don't think you should, by the way, because I've known you for the better part of 25 years and I'm a fan.
It's still very weird to me. It's just, I know me. It ain't that great. I'm just saying. But
I know me too. I'm not that great.
It's not that big a deal, But no, I mean, it's become kind of a community online of it's a lot of the same people who watch week to week, and some of them have become friends online. They've never even met in person, but they all greet each other. They talk back and forth, in the comments, and it's really cool.
No, absolutely. That is really cool. I've had a little bit of that. My audience isn't nearly as big as what you get each week, but I've seen it. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that get on from New York and a couple of friends that get on from California. And
yeah.
And now they're like, hey, what's going on? And when they jump in, everyone's saying hi, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and I've found that's actually transferred to going out and playing. It's like people will come out and all of a sudden, okay, there's a face to a name, and there's some of these people starting to meet out in the real world. And there's people who I've got 2 different groups of people in Oregon, I guess 3 different, who they all live in different places, but 2 groups actually live in the same little town that I go to every year to hang out with one of the friends. So now they've all met. So now they'll all be gathering together whenever we go out there again in July. But yeah, like you said, it's been a good opportunity for my family and a bunch of friends, like you said, from around the country. Some of whom are out of the country, but they all get to get together and watch, and that's been really good, and it really made a big difference as far as just my mental state through lockdown and feeling so disconnected.
100%. Isn't it amazing though how do you go back and look on your Facebook and go, wow, I just had 600 views? I mean, I think about that in terms of what that really means. I'm like, man, I can't remember the last time I played in front of 600 people.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, you know. Now some of that, well, I always just tell myself, well, some of that's, you know, people hop on and then they hop back off, and
Yeah.
they hop back on and they hop back off. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I think it's a little inflated,
It is.
but either way, no, it's I don't even know. I mean, it's very humbling just to think of that many people take time out of their night to sit down and watch me monkey around with a guitar.
No, 100%. And I think the thing that makes all of this worthwhile for me, and I'm very blessed because I have to admit, I probably tax my network a little bit with some of my shenanigans, including trying to raise money for different causes. But I'm very blessed and certainly humbled by the outreach to support because Live at Chance's house brought about $14,000 in donations last year to local charities here in North Texas. And we're doing it again this time around. We're doing it for the North Texas Food Bank. And I had the privilege of speaking with their communications director last week for my interview. And man, it's just so great to see people come together and it's, you can do something that's above yourself.
Right.
And that's been a lot of fun. Let me ask you this. Listen, I know you've got original music. I'm a fan of the Donut, and I've got the single from, or not the single, but the EP from Velvet Love Box when y'all took that turn. Has the last year spurned any ideas and writing? You got
Yeah, I mean,
anything out there in the works?
I've got you know, I mean, I've always had just, you know, a pile of notebooks with different ideas and little bits and pieces of things. I've got, you know, a bunch of notes, audio notes and lyrical notes here on my phone, um, and certainly the last year of working through so much material and learning so many new chords and different things, and kind of getting a much better idea of how it's definitely gotten me past my block as far as writing is concerned. I mean, now I'm like, I'll pick up the guitar and I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm playing this chord. Well, where do I want to go? Well, I should go here, here, and here. And now I can actually hear what I want to, where I want to go, and know where that is.
Yeah.
Which I've, you know, always kind of struggled with in the past. I just used to kind of, you know, dick around with it until I found something that worked. So I do think there's a lot of original stuff that's piled up that needs to start finding an outlet. So I hope to be doing some of that, yeah, in the next year for sure. Obviously, we're filming when we do the live stream. It's downstairs in our basement, and that's actually where my studio is as well. So I have some rearranging to do because, you know, the video set has kind of taken over the room. But yeah, whenever I can uncover my desk again and get down there, I'll start kind of demoing some stuff out and trying to introduce more of it on the streams as well. And I want to get Brandon involved in that as well, because I think that's kind of the next step for Bit of the Box, is to start introducing our own stuff and moving in that direction.
That's great news. Yeah, I mean, look, I've always appreciated your songwriting and love the original stuff that you've done. And I think same thing for me. I have to be honest. I mean, I was kind of already on the bug before I got started with the live stream, because that's how I got started. I was like, man, I just released a song after 10 years. Are you serious? Really? And but it's been, you know, a lot of people ask me how has your 2020 been, and I got to be honest, it's been pretty good for me.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Because I would have never done what I'm doing now. I would have never had the songs that I've had put out. I've done 2 other songs. I'm keeping Chris busy, and we've got a lot of stuff that's happening. But I've reached an audience that I've never done before, and I truly feel like that 2020 and even this year so far is the most creative I've ever been, and I just love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and you know, just keep on that train, man.
Well, what I thought we'd do is I want to do 2 last things, and I thought we'd wrap it up. One is what's coming up. You got any shows, anything big plans? I want to make sure that we get out all the info. Not that you don't already. Everybody, for the most part, knows where to find you on your page, Velvet Love Box, everything else that's going on. But any new projects, any big dates we need to know about, any social media you want to put out there?
I mean, other than right now, it's just kind of rolling along, man. We like obviously without specific dates, just right off the top of my head. I think our next full Love Box show is going to be down at Fat Daddy's in Mansfield on May 21st.
Great.
And then I think we're playing the 29th out at Central Market on their patio of May as well. Those are the next full band shows. Everything else is going to be a bit of the box. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, like I said, everything's kind of in a holding pattern to kind of figure out exactly how we're going to do this when we all feel comfortable with getting back out there. Brandon and Scott still need to get their vaccines and that kind of thing. So we're don't really have anything specific other than, hey, sometime in the next 4 months, we'll be getting kind of some sense of normalcy, I guess, from the band. So
no, absolutely. I really more of a question because I haven't talked to you a minute, and you're usually really great about promoting that stuff anyway. And whenever I see something big, I'm always always good for a share or a like to make sure people know as well.
And I very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, let's do something fun to close this out.
Okay.
And I've had these series of questions asked to me, and I've asked them of just about every musician that's come on to interview. And so it's really just some musical questions about your tastes, your likes, maybe your not so much likes. So let's start off with this. And we, hate's a strong word, but what band would you say you just really just don't like? It's dislike, and I'm not there.
Well, I mean, Puddle of Creedleback. I mean, pretty much you can pick Puddle of Mud, Creed, Nickelback. I mean, that's Kid Rock. Oh. Pretty much take your pick of most of the young country.
Okay.
Because what's that guy's name? The country girls shake it for me. What's that guy's name?
Luke Bryan.
Yep, that's the one. That's just direct. Although Florida Georgia Line takes the cake for I mean, they actually wrote a song called Dirt. No, pretty much. I don't know. No, you definitely hit on something because as you may or may not know, I'm pretty opinionated.
Yeah.
Not my fault.
I think it's great.
Right. It's not my fault. I'm right. I'm just saying.
I think that Florida Georgia Line gave the definition for everyone of bro country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it right there. Yeah. But since I don't, really listen to that, I mean, other than that, like newer stuff that's come out, I mean, I suppose mostly just the places that I get new music. I don't usually hear a whole lot of stuff that I'm like, oh, what is that? That's terrible.
Right.
It's usually like when I'm loading in someplace and the bar has music on, I'm like, what is that crap?
Right. No, I understand. So this would be a kind of the follow-up, and I guess it could come into play with some of the bands that you mentioned. So I'll give you my example that might help you out with this question. Most overrated band in your opinion? And so mine, I have to admit, I'm not a fan, although Jim K is trying to get me to be one. I'm not a fan of the Grateful Dead. So, but listen, I appreciate them. I get it. I don't hate them.
Right.
It's not my thing. And I've heard a couple of songs that are okay, Uncle John's Band, Truckin', whatever. But like the core of the band and the essence of what it is, to me, they're like completely overrated for what they are. But that's my opinion.
Right.
What would you classify as your band that's overrated?
And I mean, there's several that come to mind, but well, I guess really the first one that comes to mind is Kiss.
Okay, I get that.
I never got it. I never got that whole pumped up thing, check it, and it's just really very weak, warmed over pop.
Understood. I actually enjoy Kiss concerts, but the only reason why I do, because I have two really very close friends that are part of the Kiss Army, and I go to the shows because one, it makes them happy, and look, at the end of the day, it's entertaining. It doesn't mean that it's the greatest rock and roll in the world, but
Well, no, but I went and saw them. Actually, I went and saw them live because, hey, you got to go see Kiss.
yeah.
And it was during the time they weren't in makeup.
Oh, okay. Lick it up.
Sans makeup at Tarrant County Convention Center. The opening bands were Vixen and Vixen and Winger.
Oh.
Now, guilty pleasure, Winger, I actually really, really liked. Because all those guys were studio musicians, so they were actually musically really good.
Yeah.
But Kiss is probably going to be the top one for me on that one.
Okay.
Oh, the first ones that I can think of anyway.
What maybe whether it be, let's put it in the context of live concert, maybe a band you'd never seen. What band has surprised you the most?
The Cure, actually. I was not a Cure fan, and I was all into Rush. This is early 90s. And my friend said, hey, if you'll go to a Cure concert with me, I'll go to a Rush concert with you, because we had this battle back and forth. So we went to the Wish tour, I think it was 1992.
Okay, yep.
And it was at Texas Stadium. And I was just blown away. I mean, they were just amazing. Because I had just kind of assumed that it was a big keyboard band, and they were all just kind of sullen and mopey, and just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Robert Smith came out on stage and was funny, for one thing. He was really funny. But they had gone down into the stadium, into the locker room where they weren't supposed to go, and he came out wearing Emmett Smith's jersey.
Oh.
And it was really cool. But all of it's like they had all these guitars and these massive pedal boards, and so it was just, they were making all these really cool sounds with just by all these very intricate pedal boards and combinations of effects and everything. I was like, all right, I got it. This is really good. I get it now.
That's cool. What was the band that made you love music?
I think ELO.
Oh, okay.
I heard them when I was a kid, and them and Crosby, Stills, Nash. Although I didn't know that's who it was at the time, I just really I made my mom call the radio station to find out who had done this song, and it was called "Wasted on the Way," and it was a CSN song, because I just liked the harmonies so much, and that same thing with ELO.
Absolutely. All right, last two. If there was a band, I guess it could be non-famous, but any band that you could play in and go on tour with, who would that band be?
Well, I have two of them, actually. The first one would have been Ben Folds 5.
Ooh, cool.
First time I heard this, like, man, I wish I was in that band. And the second one would be the Decemberists.
Okay.
I've become just a huge fangirl about them.
I've actually been listening to them, and I just really stumbled onto them about 6 months ago, if I'm being honest. And I'm like, I dig it. I really do.
I got into them about 2 years ago, and then I just went down a rabbit hole, and I ended up buying everything they've ever done and listening to it. When I took that first road trip out to Oregon, it's 3 days there, 3 days back by myself in the car.
Yeah.
So I just put it all on my iPod, and I listened to them chronologically from their first EP all the way to the newest album, and just got totally hooked.
While we got people listening, because I always love being able to spur conversation with audience that watches. Let me throw you one that I've been listening to. If you don't know about yet, go look up Ocean Alley.
Okay.
They're out of Australia, and man, they are smooth and rocking, and can be reggae, can be rock, can be funk, and they got a little bit of everything in between. And I cannot stop listening to them right now.
All right, I'm making a note of this. Hang on.
Ocean Alley.
Ocean Alley. Okay.
Yep.
Done.
All right. And then last question. What is the one band that, well, maybe you already answered it, could be Decemberists, but what's the one band you just can't stop listening to? Like it's on, you're listening to it, and you'll listen to it if in the car, and you might have it in there a week and you don't care because you just keep listening to it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Decemberist certainly falls into that.
Okay.
As far as a single that just came out, I don't know what it is. I'm obsessed with this song by Honor. It's ONR. He's a Scottish singer-songwriter. But there's a song, I heard it on KXT. It's called I Must Stop Falling in Love. It's real simple, and it has a featured guest vocalist of Sarah Barthel from Fantagram. And it strikes me as very much in the same vein as Gautier's Somebody I Used to Know.
Yep.
It's one of those kind of songs. And I don't know, it's just one of those things. It won't get out of my head.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I guess I'm a little bit more boring, but like it plays in my car constantly. Like I pretty much don't listen to any kind of radio, but Steely Dan constantly is playing on my phone.
I've definitely gone through my bouts with Steely Dan as well. I love it. I will say, and I don't hear it very much, but sometimes if it's in my car or something, I'm fine with just listening to it over and over again. I don't know if you know Don. Do you know Don Cento?
I don't.
Okay, he used to play around here. He played with Brad Thompson for a little while.
Okay.
He was in he was in a couple other bands around, but he's down in Austin. But he has a band called El Cento.
Okay.
It's a little 3-piece band. You can find their stuff. I think they're on Spotify and all that. I think they put out just the one record, but I went and saw them in Fort Worth one night, and I left there singing like 3 of their songs, and I'd only heard them once, and I had basically had to go find it and do it. Really, really good stuff.
Well, I'll put that up too, because we'll make sure we highlight that as another thing to stick out there. And I'm going to notate that myself and go check it out. I'm always interested in listening to new stuff, just because you can't, you know what? You're not going to find it by listening to terrestrial radio. You're just not.
The KXT does a pretty decent job of breaking out some of different stuff. Cause I mean, it's a public radio station.
Yeah. But
it's all music. So it's got that bent to it, and they'll actually throw in local stuff right alongside, national, and that's how I've found a lot of newer music that, and friends and stuff like that. But
yeah, I guess I always forget listening to that station, so I need to get back onto that trip, because there are people out there that are in the know about up and coming, new emerging, or maybe stuff we just don't know about. And there's millions of people on Spotify. It's hard to find a track just by stumbling over it. Trust me.
No, absolutely.
I know this. But all right. Well, listen, Neil, I really appreciate you taking the time today to come on and just say hello. And I'm actually, when I called you and said I'd like to do this, I always learn something new about people that not only that I find interesting that are doing similar things, but I've known you for years, and we don't get a chance to talk a lot. And I'm really glad that we were able to have a conversation and just talk about a few things. But thank you very much for coming on.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you for having me, and congratulations on the anniversary, brother.
I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Well, you have seen it. You've heard it. The first word, the last word from Mr. Neil Schnell, the Velvet Love Box, the Bit of the Box, Daddy Soul Donut. Name what band, anyone, Lanny Flowers. He's been out there. He's done it. Live at Chance's house, season 2, wrapping up another interview. We'll see you guys here in just a little bit for the next 7. I'll be playing live with you guys as always. See you next time.
Take her to a high handstand. Take your baby by the hair. Do the next thing that you feel. We were so in phase, and I dance, all dance. We were cool on craze. When I knew everyone we knew to believe, do, sharing what was true, and I say that's all it's all. Take you, baby, by the hair, pull her close and lay there. Take you, baby, by the ears, lay upon her darkest fears. We were so in phase, and I danced all days. We were cool on craze. When I knew everyone we knew to believe and do, and sharing what was true, and I say that's all days all. That's all day. That's all day long. Take your baby by the wrist, in the mouth and amethyst, and in her eyes two sapphires blue. You need her and she needs you. Her and she needs you. You need her and she needs you. You need her. She needs you. We were so in phase, and I dance all days. We were cool on craze. When I knew everyone we knew to believe or do, sharing what was true, and I said that's all days all. That's all days. That's all days all. That's all days. Oh, that's all days all.
Hey everybody, welcome to Live at Chance's house. And